Hello everyone, this is NDC joining you for another MLP React, and apparently Hangouts is warning me it's going to die soon, so...
What happened? What?
Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. For quick streaming, try YouTube webcam. Hopefully...
Thank you for hawking your stuff at us.
Why?
YouTube, YouTube, Google in general. Sometimes if they don't necessarily fail, but they will rebrand the no end.
True.
Then let us buy something that works, please.
All right.
But in the future, because we're in the future and nothing works.
Uh-huh.
All right. Join me again is Herd of Bronies.
Hello, all you ponies. I'm a Herd of Bronies. Welcome back to Let's Watch MLP's final season.
Oh, yeah. To be specific, I didn't mention it earlier. This is season 9, episode 12.
Yay!
All right.
Woo!
I'm glad you know that now.
All right. Next up, Carlos.
Hello there, this is the artist formerly known as Unova Brony here. I'm just here contemplating on certain stuff about life and what can change in 9 years. And as for me, as a Brony, it's kind of a lot since I'm no longer in school. And I really wish I could get back to finish school now. It's kind of poetic when you think about it. It's like the thing that people want to escape from is like sometimes like the thing you want to go back to the most.
What is that in the background?
Something with feet. I don't know. I like feet too, but
don't worry about the incidental noise.
Oh, I thought I was like, did I just step into a horror movie or something?
oh no, not again.
Oh god!
Not again!
No. We don't need more creepy children imagery right now.
No more. You had enough.
Next person, please.
Yeah, next person, go.
Day Lovers.
Hello everybody, Dale over here, and my co-hosts here are traumatized, but we'll just move on. We're going to keep it nice and calm with cute ponies and forget everything and just have a great time. I think like this episode is going to be good. I haven't heard anything, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. So that's it. Next.
All right. Jenn.
Hello, everyone. This is Jen. Can't wait to see the new episode. And by the way, Second's next. Come on up, Second.
Okay, second.
All right. Well, in honor of this coming back, 8-Bit Reacts presents Real Ponies of Genius. Real Ponies of Genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Fully Grown MLP Reviewer. Mr. Fully Grown MLP Reviewer. You've spent years perfecting your craft, the art of review, and now you're prepared to unleash it on last year's internet meme. No, it's totally hipster. Roger Ebert in movies, Robert Christgau in music, you, and pastel-colored horses. It's the next progression! Back with this cold cider, Mr. Fully Grown MLP Reviewer. They don't have to like your opinion, because there are 5 guys just like you who they will.
Mr. Fully Grown MLP Reviewer!
8-Bit Reacts operating out of somewhere in Ohio.
Yay!
Dude, you need to make that into a real thing. Like, now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go for that one.
We can make it. We can make it when I come to you, Sega.
Yes. Do it.
All right. I guess, is everyone ready to start the episode?
Yes.
All right. Press. Oh, you want to have the episode up?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go.
Yay, Kim Cartoon.
Kim Cartoon.
There you go.
And it's getting closer.
Oh, it's a CMC episode. Nice.
Who's that?
Looks like that guy who tried to sabotage their camp.
Oh, yeah.
One of the kids.
I think that is Cutie Mark.
Oh, he's so happy.
He's excited, yeah.
Whose house are these?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Skedaddle Skadoodle, your cutie mark is a noodle.
Good night, every
okay.
pony.
Oh,
Yeah. This is certainly going to be for an early conversation piece with second opinion. Isn't that right?
oh, okay. Are you tying yourself?
Oh, he is so happy. It's so darn cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who might you be?
Yeah.
Scootaloo lives with her
It's
aunt.
Scootaloo's aunt.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
Scootaloo family!
It's the end.
She's got family!
Oh, it's pretty. Oh,
And the bronies go nuts and insist that they're implying exactly what it looks like.
yeah. Oh,
Ooh, I like that idea.
yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes the outside perspective helps.
Very much so.
Does she have a boat as a cutie mark? Yeah,
That looks like a boat.
interesting. Aww.
I can't judge. Their accents are so diverging.
This is so
So,
weird.
does that Scootaloo have like a revolving door of caretakers?
Yeah, this
Oh,
is kind of
but
like,
okay, so Scootaloo does have parents.
She does have family.
Wait.
Well, they just said parents.
Derby!
oh, hey.
Wasn't it her auntie though? It wasn't her.
What?
We're meeting Scootaloo's
Yay.
parents.
Oh my god,
Down
forget
goes
about
the
God, she has
Infuriates in
parents.
flames.
Drop down.
Oh my
the
gosh, Scootaloo has
orphanage.
parents. Oh,
Wow.
thank Luna.
Wow.
Oh, thank
I'm
Luna, she has
sorry,
parents. Oh my
guys,
god.
but the orphan names have to burn.
Now
The
everybody,
fanfics
now
are
screw
dead.
everybody who says Scootaloo's parents are dead.
Parents
Screw
are dead,
you.
name is dead.
Yeah, I felt like they were going to be like parents that, like, she was adopted instead of like having parents.
But
Because she says in the Rainbow Dash episode, "You're so lucky to have parents."
I mean, at least yours came back, Scootaloo. Just look at rarities.
That's true.
Oh,
I was like joking because the whole she's an orphan thing was also done with the Rainbow Factory. And it's just like immediately after we come back from her parents are coming back, it's like the Ruther Factory.
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like that was. I swear that was playing.
Wow,
in
they
some
did.
way.
Hey, look at the
They were
original
not
9
qualified to be made into
classmates.
Jan. So,
She's so happy.
Well, you're.
okay. Yes.
Oh god.
So your parents
So
are
they're
there
pretty
to
much-
be with somebody
So they're
else.
pretty much like Indiana Jones, huh?
Yes.
Wait a minute.
I bet you the mom is there in goo. I'm calling it right now.
Oh my god, it's a mom. Thank you. How did this even get to the process of the series? And
Okay, so is this
That's
going to be a
chalk.
critique of parents episode or a families who travel are valid too?
Oh, there we go.
God.
Oh,
Gator?
Gator, right?
Oh my god!
Huh? Why are you eating the picture?
Okay.
Okay, forget about Daring Do. We're talking about like Crocodile Hunter now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh great, it's an
Okay.
homage to the Crocodile Hunter.
You two still messed up. Like you let a
Yeah.
crocodile in a classroom.
Yeah, and a blood furniture.
Oh my god, Scootaloo's got parents. Oh my god.
Oh, that's cute. It just doesn't work. Oh, she like she's like shivering on the table. Oh,
Yep. Yep. Oh, to the Crocodile Hunter.
All right.
Rest in peace, Steve Irwin.
Oh
Okay, the thing is, like, her mother looks straight up like Steve Irwin's wife. Like, it
Yep.
looks.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Like who?
Steve Irwin's wife.
Steve Irwin's wife.
Oh, and even the dad has the same hat as him.
Same accent too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird just because, like, the Steve Irwin pony here is not like, doesn't look like Steve Irwin.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
A little bit, not much. He more looks like what's that crocodile hunter with the knife.
Hey. Yeah, the qualifications to be friendship teachers seem rather loose.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're at.
Wow.
Oh no. Oh no. This is going to be the separation moving episode. I'm sorry, guys. Okay.
Or bravery, nonetheless.
Hey,
Yeah.
continuity. Wait, how do you guys know about the Tree of Harmony? Nobody besides Celestia and Luna knew about that originally.
Well, it seems to be.
Crappy intel?
Unless
It's
Twilight let the cat out of the bag.
Yay!
Probably.
Distraction now, so
Or maybe they came across Pinky in town, and she's
Wait,
like,
where did they
she's
say
like,
they were
have you ever heard
going?
of the Tree of Friendship?
yeah.
Shira Leica?
Oh, one every moment. So
No,
we're
you
basically-
haven't. I mean, maybe Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo have.
Oh
Maximum
Oh.
sad.
Okay,
no!
this will be a very daring episode if it actually is, and it will be every episode that ever had this plot if it isn't.
Oh my god, why would you reference code before the pony gets me? Why? That was the biggest Star Party ever. Hashtag at CMC Clubhouse. Oh my god.
True. That's an important job, I hope you know.
They are destiny marks and whatnot, so yeah.
What about the faith? What about the plot lines? What about the world lines?
Next week. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh
And she has
god.
to leave Rainbow Dash 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna doctor my house for her link code. Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Okay.
Yep. How about you go found a village now in your
okay,
sorrow?
there are 3 ideas here. 1, accept your parents' wishes. 2, put your foot down and say, I don't want to live with you more than I want to live with the people who took care of me. 3, pointless hijinks.
Well, there's also the 4th option of founding a cultish village.
Yeah.
Finding a
Wait,
wife.
take out your anger.
Yeah, starlight glimmer.
There's also solution number 5. All the other 2 pretty much leave their lives in Ponyville, and they come with Scoots and their parents.
Okay, so well, actual option 4 looks to be that they decide that living in Ponyville with Scootaloo is better.
Yeah.
Oh god.
There's that one.
So
We're making a Bigfoot.
Cute.
It's undecided right now.
And they see through
It's
this in
Bigfoot.
seconds.
Or option 7, she tries to make like Ponyville so interesting that they'll have to stay.
Yeah, they have to stay.
Kind of like Pinkie
No one's
Pie
been
and
able to
Maud
get
in
a picture of
Rock
it.
Solid Friendship. Ponyville has such interesting rocks and friends that Maud should stay.
Now they're just going to stay with her aunt still
Look,
for some
it's
reason.
a wild fursuiter.
Run.
Crikey! It's a wild fursuiter!
Dangerous. Is that a sign?
I'll get
Look out for its terrifying bulbs.
Look at these blankets. They have such vivid colors.
I'll get me net.
If only she...
Alright. No, not that one. Let's go to the bathroom. Ooh.
Oh dear.
It's the quilt stitch monster of the Everfree Forest, mates.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, like, what's so important about moving to this new place? Did they say they had, like, stuff to study there, or,
Safety reasons about, like, the endangering Equestria could possibly be to their child since they're not close to them.
Wait, they said that?
Yeah, they
Oh,
did.
look, a red room.
Like, if they're trying to keep Equestria safe by being undercover in this new place?
Yeah.
Hey, a
What
dark
is it
room.
doing there with the cutie marks? Oh, okay. So I thought it was something sinister for a second. I was just like, is he a clone? Is he taking like pictures of the cutie marks to like make clones or something?
Yes.
Haha.
Oh god.
Ah, there you go.
Here comes the actually factory. Oh god.
Well, he's got a little bit of a point there.
The disappointing interpretation.
Finally, someone who's smart.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's not fanficky enough. It needs to be the totally bestest super specialist friends forever.
It has to be like Destiny. It has to be like Destiny and such, you know.
Potions, please. What is this?
Oh god.
No. Haven't you learned what like happened last time with the love
How did
potion?
Sakura even have a potion for this?
There's a potion
gosh.
for that.
I can't even tell how this is going wrong in some way. I just don't know how.
Well, of course
Oh,
it would
God.
have. You'd think they
They're
would have
gonna fuse together.
Oh no, they're merging into an eldritch horror.
Oh my gosh.
It's Cutie Pox 2.0.
This actually did not
Oh.
go as horribly as I expected it to go.
Yeah, I was
And it's not as epic as I would think too.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get a choice on this one. Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe it'll just be like, nah, it's very, very breakable.
You can't break those cuffs.
Someone
Break
forgot the
these
key.
cuffs.
Yeah, just a temporary thing.
Someone forgot the key. That's what.
Oh my god, they're actual cuffs now.
Oh my
What?
god.
Are you serious?
Aww.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're gone already. Or
Yeah, they picked the post up. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, there goes
How
that.
did you not see
slow,
that
they're just
coming?
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, that's true.
No, Scootaloo, you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, and how many's parents were moving and the kids never got a choice?
Yeah.
That's
Sounds
usually
like
how it
every
works.
single family in the world.
Yeah. But like the Ponyville have been taking care of her for a long time.
I think it's supposed to be somehow a ponified version of Sri Lanka is what they're going.
Oh, yeah.
Shire Lanka, so I guess it's supposed to be sort of ponified word, but I think it's pretty sure it's supposed to be Sri Lanka.
You mean Sri Lanka?
Yeah. Which would be pretty far away.
True. And pretty remote.
What?
Oh!
That's beautiful. Cute.
It's got diamond tiaras on there too.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and Big Macs and top hats.
Wait a minute, who is Top Hat?
Tender taps
Yes, tender chaps.
on your marks.
Get set, go. Oops.
The pony that step dance.
Oh, the step dancer. So his cutie mark was literally a top hat.
Yep.
You can blue.
Derpy.
Derpy.
But the job is not.
I don't know. I think Fluttershy could do a lot of what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's a lot less violence, but.
Mm-hmm.
What? Really?
Well, you got a point there too.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh my
I
god.
wonder if this is supposed to be the last CMC episode.
Oh, that's sweet.
Everyone who's associated with the CMC.
Aww.
Oh my god, Trouble Stone! Trouble Stone! You have to remind me.
Oh, full of emotions.
Oh my god, I'm in a glass case of emotions!
Wow, okay.
Nice.
Okay, then.
Okay.
That's an excellent sales pitch, Scootaloo.
Yeah.
That is what it truly took to convince us.
Cool.
Oh, and here comes the MP.
Hey, it's Babseed! Babseed's in the background.
Oh my god. Okay, well, that part line is resolved.
Sort of like questionable. I don't like it, but never mind.
Hey, Twist. I like how you're being included here.
Yeah.
Oh, Gabby
Hilda!
returns.
Oh, the Griffin!
I'm stepping down
And the
period.
hypocrite. Hey, it's Tender
All walk-on cameos.
Like, that's what I said. I
All the
feel.
cameos.
I don't know for certain, but this just feels like a final CMC episode.
It does.
That seems like what they're going for. So
Which
you
would be
see,
weird if it's not.
Oh, Rainbow Dash coming in for the super shield.
no, Rainbow, you misread the gesture. It's a dramatic last thing. Scootaloo, we didn't realize that you were just so special that we had to give you what you wanted.
Blue and not yellow.
That's still bad parenting, though.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Super success and avoiding the move. Oh.
Oh, that's cute.
notification. Well, granted, we would have if it wasn't just that you were so special.
Yellow. Look, son, yellow.
Oh, the aunties become official guardians for his school. Nice.
Oh, cute.
How sweet.
Duh.
She
What the
gets
heck?
stay here. She gets
Okay,
stay
random Afro pony.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Afro pony is super distracting. Like, is that disgusting?
there. Yay.
Cute. Just stay away from stingrays now.
That's true. Just don't even think about going in near any stingrays.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Woo.
Yeah, but going back to what I was saying earlier, it was it's
What is that? What is that background noise?
That's Gator.
Hater. What is that background noise?
babysitting.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, am I finally going mad here?
He's got his job to do.
But yeah, just going I have to say, like, it's just sort of weirdly distracting. Like, it's not so subtle like her parents are inspired by Steve Irving and his family, but
Yep.
like, it's just such a weird choice where they make her mother look so much like a bona fide version of Steve Irving's wife.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever seen her, like, it's straight up like, okay, it's indistinguishable.
Yeah.
But like, the pony himself doesn't. Looks like
maybe they didn't want to like do that because he passed away. So
I know, but still, like, it's weird, like, half choice. Where it's like, let's make it. It's like, it's not. It's like one of those like mini nitpick things, but it's just like it's just distracting for me. So it's like you make one an obvious reference to the other, but not the other one.
I think
it's a layered reference.
Yeah.
No, they remind me more of the Crocodile Dundee and his the love interest. She's also blonde and looks like that.
Never saw it, curiously.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they were based on those instead. Who knows? But what was it, Cutie Mark? That's so weird. Like the parents' Cutie Mark of Scootaloo. It's like what?
One was like a photographer. The other, it was like nature photographer. The other one was let me see her mother's.
I didn't even see
mother's
your
is covered
mother's.
by a wing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is I think of it like this. It's like we have no in the beginning when they
her mother's is her mother's is like breeze of wind and a compass.
Okay. There's Explorer, I guess. But I guess in the beginning they're like, okay, we got Scootaloo, and now all of a sudden the fan response, parents, where are the parents? They're like, we have no freaking clue who and what our parents do. And then finally here comes the final season. Like, oh crap, we gotta wrap up everything. So let's give her some parents. What are we gonna do? Steve Irwin. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't like it.
They finally figured out what to give Scootaloo parents, and maybe they could stop all the whispers like Scootaloo's an orphan and such.
Like it would have been a better episode if they actually went to the orphanage where she was like.
Well,
from.
I think the issue is I feel they over
better.
I feel the issue though is with Scootaloo is they overloaded this episode with her, as in they should have introduced her aunts earlier.
Yeah.
And then have their parents as a separate thing, because it just sort of makes it feel too crowded and makes them both of them seem less important.
And now I'm looking at the aunt. She looks more like Scootaloo's mom than her real mom does.
Oh no! And now somebody's gonna be like, those aren't her real parents.
Being honest, though, like,
really is adopted.
Right. Oh my
And this
God.
one, and this would probably be like, okay, just be quiet. This is the final This is the final season. Just shut up about the theories, will you?
Well, I guess the less dark route is that she's a surrogate. Her aunt is her surrogate mother.
oh, there you go.
Oh hell no!
That's not helping on the theory that I just got.
Daisy, we just got our minds out of that horrible dark place that Second put us in. We're trying to get to a better place.
I'm talking about like an actual surrogate mother. No, I'm talking about the actual process of where you have like someone else
okay.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
Like I think
mine must
it's not
be more like
enough. Like if I would have been so angry on the parents if they have been like going away like that. I don't know.
Well, I think they just didn't want to be too hard on parents like that because some of them do.
Well, yeah, I know, but still though, like I know like one of my parents said like that, and
it's kind of a little conflict. Sorry. It's kind of a little conflict here, you know. You have those that are like, okay, they wanted to on the parents there's like, how long have you been away from home? And now you want to come back into your kid's life and such. You know, I'm a little shocked, but understandable that there isn't any anger on Scootaloo's part to be like, where the heck have you guys been? Not a letter, not a call, nothing. You know, but that could have been off thing. You know, but I don't know.
Actually, that's true. I mean, it seems like they had an agreement on what that is, and Scootaloo accepts
she
it.
She understands it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if she understands it, and
really big of her.
It is big. You know what? It is big of her. It is big of her to do that. It's just I just can't help. It just becomes. I don't know. It's just I guess a concern I had, a weirdo kind of concern in it.
Well, for better or for worse, I think they're going for inclusive writing here, like trying to represent.
Right. They're trying to make it like not every family is the same. You know. Yeah. Some have parents in the picture, some don't, or some have them a certain amount of time. You know.
They could have done that with her being from the orphanage as well. It would have worked better for me. Because that's not a family like a lot of people either. So with that, I just don't see it like I like that she has that, but I just wish it was being like, okay, we have to go, for example, to the adoption place because, like, we need that right about now. There's a lot of children that doesn't have a place to live and doesn't have parents. So
true, very true.
Like, I also think like it's a good message to like parents that are not home and not doing that much for their children, but like Lou said in one of the episodes with Rainbow Dash, but like you should be happy about like having parents that want to stay on. Like I don't understand how she can go from that to being like, no, I'm okay with like my parents just coming and taking me away. Well, she was not, but
there's also another thing I just realized about what they could make an allusion for here. Yeah. They could also make an allusion to, I guess, maybe military parents, because that would be a perfect, you know, well, not perfect, but that could be a reason why, because you have one parent, or maybe in some cases both parents serving.
Yeah, that would have been a lot. Maybe like this is the way of the show to do that because they can't.
But then you'd have to make up a reason for what Equestria is sending soldiers out to.
You could make them Celestia's guards, I guess. But yeah, it seems like they're trying to represent kids like those in military families. I actually just made a new friend who grew up in such a family today, but who have to deal with their parents being gone 4 months on end. I mean,
True.
I
That
don't so much
definitely is
mind
the case.
that part that like what
Right.
Scootaloo's parents actually are, even though it does seem like the show is trying to score some representation points there, so like
Right.
squeeze
Right.
some of that in, which but yeah, that's kind of the least of my worries here.
Because, like, for me, it just seemed like they have been away on holiday and, like, did absolutely nothing. Like, we see the father wrestle with an alligator for a short amount of time, but, like, it could have been nice if they showed, like, a small, I don't know, throwback or clip show or something, or, like, how important their work actually is, because like right now I'm like not seeing anything that's more important than Scootaloo. But again, this could be their way of like having military parents, quote unquote, like represented, or like parents that should be represented, like Steve Irving and wife.
Well, here's a question. Do you think even though I know that I think they were trying to go for the homage to the Irwins, which is not, it's not definitely not unwelcome. It's not unwelcome though.
Because like I know that they have actually not been there a lot for their children either.
Absolutely, they've actually included them in their business. They've included they're all a unit. They are a very solid. They are a very solid unit.
If they really wanted to do that with Scootaloo in this case, like then take the parents and say like, well, we wanted to like come back when you're grown enough so you could be a part of like this dangerous job
there's the case. That's it. That I didn't think about that. That could have been, because how frightening. Could you imagine the father with baby Scootaloo on his back wrestling a crocodile? Child endangerment there.
He have been holding his baby over live crocodiles at one point.
Oh God. Be like, honey, what are you doing? Don't worry. Honey, what are you doing? Don't worry. Don't worry. It builds character.
Oh, maybe that was the thing where the mom realized, no, we have to have Scootaloo in a safe place until she becomes of age, and we can take her out.
Because they're actually secret agents.
Okay, now that would be awesome.
That would have killed the episode for me if they were secret agents. Like, would have been like, oh, this is
besides, Recess and several other shows, I think, pulled that twist already.
And then it would be funny. What if they actually were working with Agent Sweetie Drops?
Oh no, that would hate that.
Bon.
No, that would not work for me.
That'd be hilarious. That would be
like this is better with like them coming back, and like we could have this amazing throwback where we see the dad thinking about, oh yeah, there was that time when you were a baby and I held you.
We held you over a crocodile. Your dad thought it would build character.
And the mom was like, no, we had to put you like a safe place until you became of age, and now you're of age. We are going to take you, and you're going to be a part of our
okay. I get what you're saying. So that's a great. That's a great case. So I can definitely understand it there. So that's a great case for it, and totally understandable. Very great case. But and we made a solid unit. Like I said before, the Irwins are solid family unit. And you have, and what I love is you have all three of them. They're all the wife, his Irwin's son and daughter. They're both. They're all carrying on the legacy of it very well. And I understand if they weren't
thrown in, like they could even have thrown in the older brother. I wouldn't have.
If they did, then you got the Irwins. Then you've got all the Irwins.
Real Irwins, yeah.
And then you would have thrown everybody else in a tizzy. You would have been like, "What? She has a brother? Why didn't you even say anything?" I could imagine the whole collective. What? That's a great case of what they did. They wanted to kind of, but the good thing is they don't want to identify too much with the Irwins. They gotta. They got to distance up a little bit of it, but the case you make actually you have of them leaving her because she's too young, that could honestly work too. But here's one question that I want to pose to the group. Do you think that maybe if there's any kind of positive, feedback, which there probably will be for this episode, but do you think maybe they would have really got some inclusion points if they make the parents like if they made the parents either Wonderbolts or Celestia or Luna or Cadence's Royal Guards? Anything kind of military-esque, I
mean, they could have potentially done some more interesting things with that if they'd so chosen. But I mean, like, to me, at least the inclusion part, it's not the part of it that they went for here wasn't so much what the parents were doing to me. It was just what it required of them and how it affected their family dynamic. I mean, like, if they'd chosen to go into how the what plays into it a little more, maybe I would have said that the what should be something more relatable. But the effect, I think, was the important part there. I mean, like I said, that's the least of my worries. I thought that was fine.
Right. But do you think they really would have scored some inclusion points if they made them military-esque?
Yeah, I guess that could have helped a little bit. And they don't even need to explain what they're doing because, in the military, stuff is secret. So,
of course.
Well, it's a secret.
Right,
shut up policy here.
And it's life and death. And when you're in the field, it's life and death, pretty much.
Yeah, and that could also be interesting if the parents came home and they're like, Scootaloo, you are old enough now to become a knight. And we can take the two others. The two others can also become a guard now because they're in that age range. And going out to AJ and to Rarity and being convincing them to give up their young.
Oh my God! Wow, this just got dark.
Or going into the military.
Oh my God!
That would have been really interesting.
Oh wow, this just got dark. This just got dark real fast.
I'm so sorry.
That darkened rather quickly.
Oh, you wanted something like that.
I know. Be careful what I ask for. Be careful what I ask for. I just make it.
Very sad children in real life. Then.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
And that's a kind of rare, or not that rare incident, but still rare enough. So it's but I don't think the show have the. No, the show can't do stuff like that.
No,
if they can't even have parents dying or parents neglecting their children, I don't think they would have parents being coming home and being hey, you're old enough to come with us and
come with us and fight.
You want the full answer there?
Go ahead.
I mean, I think that if they had been military parents, I think more people probably would have been inclined to give it the points because it would have maintained the illusion better. But I mean, I think that it altogether kind of comes up besides the point for me. I mean, I was fine with the episode most of the way through it, but ultimately it managed to live down to every single one of my expectations.
You mean live down, you mean?
Live down, too.
Live down.
Because it's yet another episode that swaps in fan service for endpoints of character arcs and hijinks for dealing with the actual character drama and an actual solution for because you're just so ding-dong special.
Yeah,
Got your
that's true.
ding dong special.
We had that before with like I don't remember his name, but Silverstream's brother.
You know what we've had this with is every
You can
single
choose-
Cutie Mark Crusaders episode from them getting their
you can
Cutie Mark
choose
somehow.
whatever
I
you
mean,
want.
I've been accused of, including in this group, making unnecessary critiques towards their episodes, and I mean, in the end, well, sorry if you think so, but looking back at everything we've gotten from them, like as ultimately from this, Cutie Mark art, like, were they? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I see what the payoff to the Cutie Mark Crusaders is like 3 repeats of the episode of their what is it? They are just so special, and
They're just so ding dong special.
and because they're so ding dong special, some characters' lives have been made better because of them, and they're Cutie Mark Crusaders forever. Like that's not it's not a character. It didn't become a character arc in any way. It became like the Cutie Mark Crusaders are special and one of a kind and self-insert friendship fantasy. Like from the moment they got their arcs to now, it's been repeats of that, and then a couple of half-decent episodes about them as individuals, not tied into the group. Like,
Yeah, should have been tied into better. Like they should have gotten more help from the pony in the start with like tying stuff together.
I don't know. I mean, I've been looking forward to a lot of what season 9 could do as the payoff to stuff, and I just realized, looking back, that the Cutie Mark Crusaders really weren't one of them. Because there was really no momentum left with them. They were special. They solve everybody's problems. They're the only ones who can help solve problems. They're the only therapists in the world. They're the bestest life purpose therapists ever because they're the main characters, and they're not just sang special. A song to Diamond Tiara. Like,
I like that. I did like that scene where Diamond Tiara kind of waves to them. I thought, okay, that was a great call. That was a perfect callback you needed to her redemption and everything. It's like I see you, man. I like that they did that tiny little callback, and that was perfect right there.
I didn't mind that because walk-ons for everyone, but I mean,
I didn't really mind that because of 2 reasons. Which one is, it's intentionally meant to sort of rub it in our faces, because it's sort of meant to rub it in her parents' face, like. So it is a little bit showboaty, but at the same time, it actually makes sense plot-wise.
Why would she rub it in their? Why would she use that to rub it in their face?
Oh, just sort of like the show is like, hey, we're very important here, so.
Oh, hey, I get
away
you.
From yeah,
that's, hey, we redeemed her. Remember you hated her? Yeah, we redeemed her. That was us. That was all us.
No, just talking about the whole parade thing and all that. I was saying that's so it makes sense that, but also again, this is my point. Is I don't know for sure yet because we don't know the synopsis. We only know 3 episodes past the hiatus, but we don't really know if there's going to be another CMC episode. But if this is the last CMC episode, it makes sense as we give them a farewell. So
if it is the last CMC episode ever, then very appropriate.
This is definitely the final episode. This felt like it completely tied up the loose end.
That's what I was saying. It should be. I don't know if some weird reason they're okay, let's show in one more CMC episode, the back half.
Or they help save the day in the end or something.
Oh my God, that's what I want to make clear. Is I have a feeling that CMC will be involved with the final resolution along with pretty much everyone. It's not just going to be the main 6 now. It's going to be a whole lot of characters.
Do more than they did last time.
Yeah. Well, I guarantee that. I have a feeling it's going to be a very in-game, everyone's there for the finale thing. But I mean, actual dedicated CMC episode, I really hope there isn't anymore because it just sort of seems to take away from this episode. because I forget, there's a few other shows that have done this where like, they sort of had the finale, then they sort of done a few things after it, and where they clearly had no other plans. Like, so really hope this is the cap off episode, also to sort of free up some more room for the main 6, because there's still a lot of gaps in the main 6's like final episodes.
That's true.
And also I found out, like, I hope Fluttershy at least gets 2 in the final episode, because the first one I've heard about, which is one of the 3 leaked. It feels
Leaks.
what? No, yeah, I'm just saying I'm sort of concerned and disappointed with the synopsis I've been given.
Just like, could we keep it?
It feels, we don't know the writer, but it could feel like it's a very MG Barrow episode. It's like, if that's the final episode for Fluttershy in the entire series, I will be disappointed. Like,
all the Fluttershy fans rage.
Well, like, then I'm not going to rage, but yeah.
You know it. You know what? This is horrible. This is horrible to say, but I'm like, this might be amusing if all the Fluttershy ones rage. It might be amusing to be like, we are so angry, we could just scream.
Yeah.
Hey.
But I think like I must agree with Sagan here. I actually don't like this episode that much with the CMC. Like, I think like this is my least favorite CMC episode.
This is your least favorite?
Yeah, I find that a sort of a hard stretch. I mean, I do understand, like, overall, if I was going to my final thoughts in this episode or whatnot, I feel the biggest issue of this episode, it's not as bad as
Cart Before the Horses?
No, it's not as bad as like a Magical Mystery Cure, but this feels like an episode that should have been split into 2 different episodes.
Possible.
And yeah, like I said, with the aunt plot, like that feels like it should have been introduced earlier in the series.
I mean, I think you mixed the names up because, like, Magical Mystery Cure is Twilight's episode.
I know, that's what I was saying, where, like, that's an episode.
As a payoff episode.
Well, that's an episode where, like, that episode is like no other episode in the series was so clearly meant to be 2 episodes. Like, you can, like, take a knife and cut it right down the middle and see where it's supposed to be 2 episodes.
Random, my favorite episode ever. That's fine.
but you can even say, I'm saying, I'm not saying that's a bad episode, but I'm just saying, like, that episode was clearly meant to be 2 episodes that they crammed together into one. And like that's what I'm saying.
Anyway.
But never mind. it has a better payoff than this.
Well, I'm just saying, like, with this falls in the same camp of that, as in, I feel like it should have been split up into, like.
I'm disappointed with this one. I wasn't disappointed with the other one.
I'm not disappointed with this one. You know, I had some little questions. I was like, gosh, why did they wait so long to give Scootaloo parents, but also to show Scootaloo's family? But at the same time, you know, because I think they understand. At the same time, I'm like, why'd they do this? But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, because it's the final season, they got to wrap this crap up. They got to wrap this up. So, but other than that, I definitely. I'm gonna be in agreement. Not my favorite CMC, but you know what? Still good. Still a good still a good episode. Still good.
Well, I guess it is better than Cart Before the Horses.
Anything's better than that.
That's what I was saying, like, earlier, and you were like saying this is your worst CMC episode. I was like,
that hurt. Ouch.
Yeah, but I was just like, I must admit I forgot about the episode. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry for bringing back the memories of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the aunt and the parents. That's what I was saying with, like, fan service in place of a character arc. Because, like, I mean, as far as the CMC with one another, I mean, like, even think back to right before they got their cutie marks when they were doing the whole, okay, what's going to change about the group dynamic? Like, Apple Bloom's starting to have second thoughts about actually wanting to get her cutie mark at all and all of that. Okay, and now they got them, and then, like, on your marks, tried a little bit of the, well, okay, what do we do now that we have them? How's our life going to change? What are we going to, now that we don't have this in common, what do we do to get, I mean, it tried that a little, but, I mean, past that, like, what has their group arc been up to now?
First, it was getting their cutie marks,
Yeah.
Then they got them. Then they got them, and they're like, okay, what do we do now? What do we do now? And but then they figure out, and they do stuff until they figure out, like, okay, we have to help. We help those that were like us once to find their purpose.
Yeah, so that's On Your Marks. So up to On Your Marks. Now, what has their group arc been since then?
Oh, okay. After they do that, okay. After On Your Marks, you know what? You're right. What is it? To tell since then? I guess it's just reaffirming how. Well, I think this was the final affirmation for them. It's like, what do we do after? Now that we know our purpose, like we're gonna keep to our purpose.
I mean, I know nobody.
That's the final block you need, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was kind of disappointed with the Gabby, the Griffin, the Fault in Our Cutie Marks episode, and I know not everybody liked what I had to say there, but I mean, like, where On Your Mark seemed like it was trying to rein in, from after the part where they got their cutie marks, rein in the, oh my gosh, this is the most special, amazing thing ever, we're the most special, amazing thing ever. It's like, okay, you're still only human, or ponies, or whatever you want to call it. You still have to keep having character arcs and then Fault in Our Cutie Marks threw that out the window, like, nope, they're world famous. Don't you hear what this Griffin is saying? She's heard of them all the way over in Griffinstone. They've made everyone's lives better. They never fail. They're the world famous Cutie Mark Crusaders. If they fail at this, that'll be the first time ever. And will they? Of course they won't. They make this Griffin's life the best thing ever. And okay, so where do you go from there to here to make a wonderful final episode? Like, okay, there's still the most wonderful thing ever, but we showing you Scootaloo's parents. Raise the curtain, yeah, look at them.
Yeah,
second.
A pair of beautiful crocodile hunter referencing parents right here for your entertainment viewing pleasure.
Second, you're the best.
Yeah, we're gobbling it up with everything.
Second, you're the best. Never change.
Thank you very much.
It's all the earth, man.
And it's all mine, yay!
Very lucky.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't have the same reaction to this that I had to Fault in the Cutie Marks episode, where I could kind of tell never predict failure for something, but where you could I kind of figured where it was going the whole time, and it went exactly where it was going the whole time, and it went exactly there. Like here, I was like, okay, I'm willing to see the story of Scootaloo and her parents, and I mean, the stuff like the crying scene was very funny. Like, our last meeting and the first order of business is to cry.
I thought that was totally appropriate. I would have done the same thing.
Like, that scene was having a great time with itself, and I was like, okay, I'm getting into this. And then my what was intended as a lighthearted pseudo cynicism of like, okay, the option is respect the parents' wishes, stand up to the parents, or hijinks. Like, it actually managed to live down to that when I wasn't actually trying, didn't actually mean for that to be a prediction. It chose hijinks, and
I had a feeling hijinks would be, would be the where they go, but yeah.
I actually had a feeling like, didn't it do all three things? Because like Scootaloo first are going to go with them, but then she rejects them, and in the midst of all of it,
they throw that in at the end of the hijinks bit. And
in the midst of all of that, I'm saying it's hijinks, but like
the hijinks end, and then she says but you're changed. Like, they give her that one scene between them, and then they're like, oh well, see, we're still nice. Like, sleep over with Apple Bloom and Scootaloo, and then they just chew on that for a bit and circle their way into the final solution. Like, wait, this is why they have to give Scootaloo her way, because she's the most special pony ever.
Because she's so ding-dong special.
Well, I mean, okay, well, think about, let's say let's pretend that the Cutie Mark Crusaders had relatively normal life purposes. Like, heck, they were like the main six. Like, they share a destiny, but all their cutie marks are unique. Just like take away helping ponies pick careers is the most special thing ever. Like, okay, what would she have had to say to them then? Like, she would have had to have a very
she was good at like biking on her scooter. Everybody thought like she was going to get her Cutie Mark as a scooter at one point. Like maybe she could show like all of her skills, and she would like people would still like her. And people will still support her. Like Rainbow Dash would still like be having that fan club for her and all of that good stuff. So
granted, I totally agree, but that's in the past by now. But okay, without the special things, she would have had to have a very relatable and very nitty-gritty character drama filled conversation with these parents about what they're doing to her and what they're taking away from her versus what they're trying to give her in like time with her parents and stuff. And I mean, like, we could have had a very powerful episode, and that's what I hate about because they're so darn special, because they're so ding dong specialist thing ever, because it's a shortcut to get around having to write actual character drama about characters actually earning this.
Actually, maybe that's also what I'm missing then. What could have made it great for me if like they had normal cutie marks and they have to go like through it like normal ponies, and in the end they would have like this big result with like, even though you're not special, you still have like family, friends, and like people to support what you're doing.
Well, I mean, even if they even as the Cutie Mark Crusaders, they still could have gone that route. I mean, the Crusaders, they run a Crusader camp. They help. I mean, they do like career therapy, whatever you call it. Which, I mean, and that's certainly a nice service. It does something, but I mean, you don't need to laud that through the roof to have this plot. You don't need to pretend that they can't do that any other way, but this way. Like, I mean, because I think what's more important than that, like, I mean, Scootaloo's not a martyr at age. Doesn't have to be a martyr at age 12. Like, I cannot be with my parents because I must do my purpose. It's like, no, she's still the daughter of parents who travel. Let's solve this problem. Like, you have to solve the problem of a daughter of parents who travel and want her to live with them without having to give up their careers.
Or maybe like it could have been resolving it a little bit with also, didn't the Crusaders also say like the map would call them and then they could go on to quests, or is that just me? Because like then
saying that, although that's true now that you mention
it.
Well,
because like I think like it could have been working really good for me if actually the episode starts with the map calling the CMCs, their cutie marks, and them finding Scootaloo's parents out in the wild, and her being like, "Oh, I thought you were dead," and stuff like that. And and it could be like them being like, "We had no way to write or come in contact with you," so like that could have been even more emotional. But I don't know if that would have worked for anybody else.
Fictions abound.
Ah, well, you're welcome. My job is done. Yeah.
Oh, hello. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I don't think so. You really missed like a huge elaboration on stuff about like second opinions on Last Crusade.
Yeah.
And how it was the greatest Indiana Jones movie ever.
Which one's the greatest?
I think Unova's just screwing with me right now.
Okay, which one did you say was the best second?
My favorite Cutie Mark Crusaders episode?
I thought Carlos said something about Indiana Jones or something.
Yeah.
How Last Crusade is the greatest Indiana Jones movie ever. Which
Okay.
I've actually still only seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, and somebody tried to show me Crystal Skull, which I fell asleep.
boy.
But to be fair, that might not have been Crystal Skull's fault. I might have just been really
No,
tired.
No,
My
that's probably
favorite is the
Crystal.
one where he finds the Ark and everybody is moving.
The
Ark of the Covenant, you mean?
Yes.
Mine was Temple of Doom.
Oh,
That's the
that's
that's
also a
classic too.
classic. Yeah.
I'm wondering if I will find that to be my favorite when I finally get to it.
I honestly, so far, you know what? I've heard enough of Crystal Skull. Be like, I probably won't see it. I enjoy Last Crusade the best. I enjoy that one the
Honestly,
best.
A Crystal Skull ain't really a bad movie. It doesn't stand up. It's like if you compare the new Star Wars saga, the last 3 films come to the original 3.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of quality, or it's like that sort of quality difference where it's like it's there, but it's like basically the same way how people don't like Rey that much. It's like they don't like Indiana Jones,
which is silly. Silly. Like how could you not like Rey? I mean, okay, Rey may seem a little wooden in some areas. Rey may seem a little wooden in some areas, and yeah, she's a little bit underdeveloped. But I'm like, for goodness sake, it's her second movie. Give us some time here. Come on.
For a while, I would always roll my eyes at fan backlash with hey, that is a total betrayal of the original. What? Because it's not as good. We already have the original.
Or is it because because you have a woman for a lead character? I'm like, that's your problem with it?
No,
well, that is granted why they're 10 times as hard on her being good at stuff as they are on Luke Skywalker being good at stuff. But that aside, I'm talking about stuff in general, the Spider-Man 3s, the Crystal Skulls, my reaction to those was always okay, it continued the story of the characters I wanted to know more about, and it was another enjoyable adventure. So what if it's not my favorite one? But I've almost gained a little bit of newfound sympathy for it after from this show, believe it or not, just seeing some of the later seasons that they come out and everyone's like, yes, the new one was once again the greatest thing ever, more of that. And it's like, okay, it totally changed course from what I would say was the greatest season, because I've seen enough animated shows to tell when something's doing something original and special and when something is not trying to be original and special, and now it's not even trying to be that anymore, and everybody's like, what? No, celebrate the mediocrity. I don't know. It's surprising how it can work your way under your skin. But critic first, fan second, so the later seasons, except maybe 8, are still solid. I still am obligated to admit that.
Scootaloo has a lot of similarities to Rey now. I'm thinking about it. Yeah. We wanted to see her parents too, and we got Scootaloo's parents.
But the one thing I was, I want to, before we go off, back to top, I just want to go comment on Rey. I never really hated Rey too much, but I will admit that she is a little bit too much of a Mary Sue.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's, I think, the issue. And the other thing is, actually, it brings up a comment. I remember a video discussion where it's there's a difference between a strong female character and a strong female character. No, I think it's the same. Is there's a difference between having a strong female character and just making a female character strong, physically or whatever strong. It's there's a difference.
Okay.
And the Star Wars doesn't really understand that. And it's a long arc, but I feel they just sort of made her too special when she didn't earn that specialness sort of thing.
Right.
And the other issue, which I'm having more with this prequel as a whole, regardless of Rey, is how not this prequel, the sequel. The sequel, the biggest issue I'm having, especially as we near the final one, which this is the final one, is it sort of robbed the original main character's good ending just to sort of give a subpar story to the new cast. it's like because think about all the main original 3 characters.
It all turns out
Luke,
it bottomed out for them.
And Leia, I feel they actually would have had a good ending for Leia, but her actor sort of died. So yeah, she won't get that. But it's basically, so it's
died.
But I mean, it's think about those 3 had a happy ending at the end of the original Empire. Now they don't. They have a bad ending, because Luke died. Before that, he just sort of became an exile because he failed as a Jedi Master. Leia has a troubling, she leads a rebellion. She has the better ending, but she's still sort of have a divorce exchange with her son and all that. And Han just went off and became a smuggler again, and just sort of it's they have miserable lives, which it's sort of not fair to the characters. And all of that is just to give the new characters to sort of pass the torch. It's okay, I don't mind you passing the torch, but why couldn't they have a happy ending?
But also the one thing sorry to interrupt. I just want to interject here. Why give Leia Force powers now?
I feel like she always has them on some level.
Apparently she can fly. Apparently she can force fly through space.
Did you see the video they made to have fun with that? It starts out the same, but then when she opens her eyes and suddenly it's force power, the Thor Ragnarok music starts playing. Well, okay, that's the reference for the immigrant song starts playing, and then she shoots through the bad guy's ship with the light speed scene.
Wait, is it the one? Is it the edit? Is it the one that goes at the do 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 do? Is that the one edit you're talking about, or a different one?
No, the one where it goes.
That one.
And then she doesn't fly back to the ship. She light speeds through the bad guy's ship and tears it in half. Because that's the thing that's awesome enough for the immigrant song.
Yeah, or
okay, I'm going to go and save that for later, but I'll save it for you Google search. Anyway, back to the episode.
Right.
This honestly does make me want to have some sort of discussion, react, or something with Star Wars later on. But for this episode, let's go back to Scootaloo and her actually known parents, which are actually special, not just nobodies.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so ding dong special.
Awesome, yeah.
Well, aren't they just ding dong special?
While some people were, while the Cutie Mark Crusaders seemed like earlier on one of the really cynical fans, preferred choice of subjects to be cynical towards. Now we already know what their special talent is. I think one of the voices pulling back on the reins a little bit, or at least for the time I was around. Lots of people know what their talents are without being sure what they want to do, or without, being self-aware. So it's the journey, not the destination. And this part of the journey is kind of me saying it's not much of a journey anymore. It kind of is just about the destination. So, I'm tempted to say, or at least from got the cutie marks onward, unsuccessful arc. Kind of stinks to say, but I'm I think they ran out of ways to follow through with the Cutie Mark Crusaders.
It's an appropriate way to go out.
Just plain didn't think of any.
It's the appropriate way to go out, honestly.
Well, the way they, what's the word I'm looking for? With the approach they ended up picking for those 3, it was the perfect way to go out, which is that, hey, they're just so perfectly special, and they prove it to somebody else now, and hooray, self-insert friendship fantasy. Greatest thing ever. You may now begin telling us how we make all your dreams come true and are the greatest writers ever now.
Oh. Okay, then.
It was kind of like sort of like this episode was kind of like yeah. In the end, the CMCs post season 5 have really not been like getting much to answer to for like their whole like Cutie Mark Crusaders answering the call of like other people in need of like learning about their cutie marks or discovering their talents. And it's kind of like
ironically, I think they did it better before they got their cutie marks.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like a sad thing to reflect on because like like the Cutie Mark Crusaders were once going to be like a pitch as like a pilot for like a second pony show focused on the CMCs, but
which could have been fun, honestly.
Well, depending on how bad season 5 goes, bad or good it goes, it might still get that spinoff.
You mean Generation 5?
Yeah, Generation 5. Actually, I thought I said Generation 5.
Season 5. Although Season 5 was where they got their cutie marks and post that.
That's true.
Although
it's like the series was like, okay, we kind of officially ended things off for season 4 to 5, and like this is literally like the dregs of like what's going on. While season 9 is sort of like, yeah, we don't have any limits anymore right now. Like, so that's why we jam-packed all this stuff into this episode about Scootaloo living with ants sometimes, and also about like learning about like Scootaloo's parents, which aren't dead. Which that was a nice surprise for the episode.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And also, surprise crocodile.
You mean
crocodile watching for season 9?
Hey,
crocodile watching for season 9. So be wary. I might get like a bingo card if I get 3 more.
Who knows?
But it is actually interesting that we actually got an actual close-up image of a crocodile for the first time.
Well, no, that's
Queen Chrysalis's transformation.
Yeah,
and also the episode with Nightmare Moon where she blows up crocodile.
I forget, but there's also I think the Trixie one too. We've seen it a few different times. This is the first time where I felt I was just remembering more like they actually close up with probably the wrestling because of that, where we actually get to see.
It's Timberwolves. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Road to Friendship did have crocodiles like snapping like at during the song montage. So yeah, I just consider this episode to be okay. Like it's like okay good. It's like okay good to me. I just like in the end the CMCs like I really did feel for Scootaloo, but that was really it. And I guess in the end, Scootaloo sort of won out as best CMC because she wasn't butchered like Sweetie Belle was in the later seasons, post season 4, thanks to For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils, and then like wasn't like a nothing character that wasn't really given much leadership spots like Apple Bloom. So Scootaloo kind of wins it.
I don't know if I've ever liked a Cutie Mark Crusader more than I liked Sister Who's Social Sweetie Belle, but she wasn't really Sister Who's Social Sweetie Belle since For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils. They made what I would consider kind of a clunky attempt to age her up, followed by a relatively lukewarm attempt to portray older Sweetie Belle.
Yeah.
So, I guess if it's batting average, then maybe Scootaloo.
Well, yeah, just sort of agreeing with that. Yeah, but I didn't like I haven't liked the Sweetie Belle like changes. I literally brain. Gosh, what's his name?
Dr. Wolf.
No.
Wait. What?
Dave Polsky?
Yeah, Dave Polsky. Because I pointed this out way back when he first did those things. Like, this is a very different change for Sweetie Belle. And I still have to agree with myself back then and now. I was like, I don't like that change in Sweetie Belle where she went from the little sister attitude to the more confident, sort of slightly jerky leader CMC figure, which, I haven't liked that change in personality.
I just didn't buy it. They had to like pull things out of nowhere for it to happen. Like, oh no, Sweetie Belle has been secretly harboring a grudge against Rarity for always stealing the spotlight, and like they were trying to turn Little Sister admiration into that. And I mean, like it, and I don't know, it seemed like kind of a clunky attachment, like I said, because I mean, it's like they were trying to they were trying to pretend that Sweetie Belle's like overly enthusiastic, sweet little sister personality was an admiration / jealousy complex little sister personality.
Yeah. But going back to my thoughts on the episode, I sort of agree with Carlos where I don't hate the episodes, but I don't love it. I would just say, for my entire review of this, I would say it's a fine episode. That's just like I feel it's a little too cramped and it sort of tries to do too much, but I don't mind it as a resolution to the CMC's arc. If this is the final one, I'll probably hate this episode. I'll hate this episode a lot more if this isn't the final CMC episode. But like as a send off, I don't mind it. I've seen a lot worse send off episodes, so it's fine.
I mean, like there was the episode that should not be named that was referenced in a picture frame. Will not let that go, show.
I mean, context for me. I'm sorry, were you?
I'm done.
What? I'm hearing sounds and none of them are an answer.
I heard a in the background.
Carlos done. Okay, well he's muted now. But
yeah, I was saying I was done.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I like context almost makes it worse than on its own terms than it probably is for me. I just like every little. Hey, let's convince the character, the ponies of the day that Ponyville has something special, so they won't want to leave it. Doesn't that sound familiar? Hey, let's try one of Zeccora's potions so we can cause hijinks instead of a solution. Doesn't that sound familiar? And okay, maybe that much was tribute to past episodes, to be fair, but then like, hey, let's talk about how special the Crusaders are and how they have a perfectly perfect destiny that can't be ruined forever. Doesn't that sound familiar? Hey, like, but like it had to. Well, I don't know. Like I said, it's almost hard to say what I thought because I said I was just kind of neutral on Fault in our Cutie Marks, and I was like enjoying aspects of it while basically rolling my eyes on what I knew it was doing the whole time. Whereas this, I was like I was going with it. I was moderately amused by, if nothing else, the new characters, the ants, some of the comedy scenes. But as it sunk in, like where it was going, and then like by the end, where they hit you with it all at once. I mean, it was like it's like it pulled back the curtain and revealed that it was everything I have not liked about the CMC recent arc and everything I didn't want it to go. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. On one hand, like, I mean, I don't often say that an ending can ruin an entire episode for me if it passed the time, like, I could at least afford a C grade or something, couldn't I? But I mean, on the other hand, I just felt like like this big ending is happening that's all been building up to, and I just felt so much nothing towards it. I'm like, I don't know. It's almost like the episode is like passable if kind of eye-rolling entertainment. The payoff to the CMC's arc is a dud to me, and I don't know how I separate the two, or I don't know, I guess I'll have to, because, hey, like, one isn't necessarily solely responsible for the other. I guess they have to be taken on their own terms. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm kind of trying to make sense of complex feelings right now, but I can see why everyone would say, yeah, the episode was fine. I mean, in context for me, it feels like it swung and missed on something it has swung and missed on the exact same way before, which, like, on its own terms is like, okay, well, that part didn't work so well, and in context with all the other ones feels like a huge climactic strike 3 to me. So, all right, that's all I got.
I guess, is that everyone's opinion?
Alex's.
The episode sucked dick.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just
Wow.
kidding. It was all right.
You were waiting for that, weren't you? You waited until the right. You were waiting, and then like, okay, then here comes the kill.
Here comes the blunt honesty
Damn.
round of Alex the Herd.
My opinions are short and concise.
Just to be clarified for YouTube, just to clarify for YouTube, it sucks Dickinson.
Yeah.
It sucks, Robert.
It sucks, Dick Tracy. I just wanted you to know that.
That was just epic. You just like came for the final blow. Crazy.
No, he's like a volcano, just building up pressure until he explodes.
He was just waiting. You were just like a ninja, just waiting until the right time.
I was just playing technical background with my mic muted.
And just to say it because you actually liked the episode.
Yeah. Oh, like I think it was just like all right. It was a good way to. I think it was a good way to wrap up the CMC. Except if they ever return, I want it to be in the future episode. The long-awaited future episode where they.
You want CMC Beyond?
It takes a look at in a few years when their CMC are grown up, when everyone's grown up. I want that to happen. They can't end the show without that happening.
You know what I could?
Probably will.
You know what I could live with? Like one more individual CMC episode, right? Like, I mean, in fact, that could probably be justified because, like,
let's see.
We had one about Apple Bloom. This one's about Scootaloo. So, like, if we had one more Sweetie Belle episode that. Heck, since they've gone this route anyway, that rounds out her growing up arc and maybe gives the Crusaders a little coda.
I don't think another I could see that, but I don't think we sort of need another Sweetie Belle episode. But if Sweetie Belle plays a big role in another Rarity episode, I feel that would be very good.
If Sweetie Belle finds a place in Rarity's business,
that could. I wonder how that would work and what she'd do.
Doesn't it like run opposite to her like her things so far? Like she's
she should
not a very good dressmaker or crochet.
The thing is, it does kind of.
What if Sweetie Belle becomes a singer and Rarity designs her dresses?
That's it. Yep. That's it.
Careers matching up and possibly.
That's it. That's what I think everybody. That's what I think everyone in the fandom kind of. Everyone sees that happening. Sweetie Belle becoming like a famous star on Bridal Way. Is that what they call it? Bridal Way. Becoming a bridal. Yeah, you know. I think that's going to happen. I think that's her future. She becomes a star on Bridal Way, but also like comes back to Ponyville every now and then for charities and such and. Yeah, and Rarity designer costumes. Totally. I see that.
Although, I have not been able to tell for the longest time now whether the show cares or not anymore about Sweetie Belle being a singer.
They probably don't. Because they're like, okay, because she hasn't sang in a long time.
Really
they
long
don't
time.
Care about like
unless even if you count 99 buckets of votes on the wall. 99 buckets of votes.
See, she's a natural.
Oh my gosh.
Which, I don't know, like, I've been half suspecting that what they were going for there is that she hit puberty, and it turns out she's not actually any good at all. And it's just a hobby.
I think that 99 things she was doing, I think that was for comedy. That was just for comedy. Because sometimes when you get so excited and you want to sing something, you're not always that good, or when you've had too many. Sometimes you turn into Whitney. Sometimes you think you're turning into, I don't know, Indina Menzel or something. But anyway, I really think that was like just comedy. That one thing was just comedy purposes, and it worked too because it's funny.
It was funny, and that is the more likely explanation. Although considering that they not only dropped her songs, but they dropped Apple Bloom's voice actress as her singing voice, I don't know if it's the more likely option by much.
Yeah. That's BS.
Wait, they replaced Creeper for someone else for the singing voice?
Well, now they just have her speaking actress sing her songs.
So they just have her just Apple Bloom. They don't have her singing as Sweetie Belle anymore.
No.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Lame. Lame.
Anyway, I guess final thoughts on this episode before we head out.
Alex, go first.
It was decent, all right.
Oh, come on. Where'd all that fire go?
It burned out.
Fine, okay. It's fine.
I was looking forward to the other story possibilities this season had on the table, more so anyway.
Yeah, I have a good one. Like, I think the episode is like the cutie mark we see in the start. It tied itself into a knot. Luckily for it, it wasn't a noose. So,
clever.
Yeah.
Clever girl. I thought it was good. Fair.
It was a decent episode. I'll give it a good rating, but it's a weak good rating because it could have been more. It could have been something building up, but then again, it was the last few seasons of the CMC, so it didn't really have much.
It's good for a CMC wrap up.
Yeah, I guess I also have to watch it again because, like, I was focusing a little bit too much about like the crying and all of the shenanigans and stuff like that. That was the only thing that made it a little bit better for me. Actually, I don't know. That sounds
kind of
horrible.
funny if Quill Pants gets a stronger wrap up than the Cutie Mark Crusaders.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that would
brother.
That would be.
That's still hard to swallow.
Like something. I don't know. Not going to go there.
Moving on.
Were you about to make a mud briar
YouTube.
reference?
Why don't you just go past this part?
You were about to make a mud briar reference, weren't you?
Skip this. If you don't,
There's still missing one more unlikable character to reference in order for we to actually go through every single unlikable character Jen dislikes in the entire series right now.
Really? There's only just honestly that the ones that I deemed unlikable. Well, they're not in the glue factory anymore. There's only one soul left in the glue factory, and we all know who that is.
Sludge.
What?
Oh, it's Cozy Glow.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want that thing obliterated.
Oh, sorry. For me, it was more about Sledge.
Sledge.
You know.
Spike's quote-unquote dad. Spike's not dad.
The not dad.
Too.
You know what? Yeah.
But there's only one. There's only one pony that's literally in that factory, and that was the pony from like last episode, like that tried to make the flowers and had all of the glue over her.
Oh.
But going back to let me see what I was going to say. Oh yeah, with like Sludge, yeah. The best way to summarize him was even like a normal dragon was just disappointed with his actions.
Gator, he's all yours. He's all yours. Have fun.
Snorlax
He's skating through.
Smolder's like
later.
reaction of just like utter disappointment with them was just like hilarious. Like,
Honestly,
no, dragons don't do that.
No.
Glue Factory though, or the scaly purse factory or whatever.
I don't
like,
know.
Factory.
honestly, he's not even like what makes the episode fun for me is that he's really not even worth that. Like I get more into Spike's character development with like Twilight being his family and
Right.
how he feels about his dragon heritage. I get more into that than I get into
Just
whether Sledge is being too.
You know what Sledge is?
mean or
You know what
something
Sledge just really deserves? He deserves the Game of Thrones treatment. You just get. You just have. Wait a minute. You just have Drogon. That's the last dragon that I believe Daenerys has. Yeah, Drogon. You just have Drogon come up, and all Daenerys comes up and says Dracarys. Boom, done.
Yep. Dragonfire. Well,
Dragonfire. Dragonfire. It's the best source. It's the best source of law enforcement. Huh?
That is Dragonfire, and he is a dragon, so that's not going to kill him.
Yeah, but nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said that. Even though dragons breathe fire, nobody's ever said what happens if a dragon gets hit by fire.
I think Spike said they're fireproof.
No.
They're relatively fireproof. Apparently, laughter fire is dangerous.
Laughter fire. Oh, well,
so we have to have him
what if somehow Drogon came to the world of Equestria with the Queen Daenerys as a pony form in tow, and all of a sudden she found out about dragon fire being super hot and it may be something that could kill them, and then all of a sudden like just make him laugh. Just make him laugh, like, how do I do that? Like, I don't know, tell him something funny or something like, she says something funny or whatever, or does something funny, or someone tickles him or whatever, then all of a sudden, and then you could put a Sledge in the way. Maybe?
That sounds like it.
Anyway, back to final thoughts.
That was everyone's, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
DC.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, like I feel this is just a fine episode. Not like in a good way, but just sort of like neutral. Like, yeah, this is a fine episode. It feels, actually, ironically, going back to Game of Thrones reference, it feels like this episode is sort of more they need it, and it's a needed episode in terms of a writing thing instead of they want to write it sort of thing. Or it feels like mechanically required episode, like how the Game of Thrones ending felt mechanically required. Like they know that how the books are going to end, so they have to get to this point, even if they have to basically force it through the plot. How just sort of feels unnatural. This episode feels they needed a send-off episode for the CMC, so this is what we got, sort of thing. And also, we need to get to the whole Scoodle's parents thing, so we sort of have to get that over with too. Let's combine them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like overall, like I feel it's a fine episode. Like I've seen far worse enough episodes and like final episodes for shows. It was like it's a fine episode. So yeah, fine, not good, not bad, just fine. Not good, not bad. I guess it's 3.4 rec then. I guess no one gets their Chernobyl reference.
Gets the what?
Chernobyl reference.
Oh.
All right, but I guess see y'all next time.
Bye.
And we'll be back in the hiatus.